Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I was texting. Hold on one second. Arika. Okay, good. I did it. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is Monday. I want to thank you for obligating me in some sense to actually get up and get showered and get dressed today, because let me just tell you, this weather is glorious, and it is the kind where you just want to stay in bed, snuggled up, a little harder to get motivated in the mornings to get up and get going. It was a long weekend. It was actually a pretty good weekend. It was actually, I think I'll call it a weekend, which we don't really get a lot of. Thank you, dear. He's adjusting.
You didn't sit the way you were sitting.
No, I'm sorry. So before we start, he's always like, sit how you're going to sit. And I'm like, that's how I'm going to sit, as a joke. But then he has to adjust the camera. So my apologies, if I'm not centered. Anyway, so yeah, I had to get up this morning. I got showered. We have a busy day ahead of us. I am hoping I can get out there to see Susie Q today, who is in town, who comments quite often. They are here, so that is part of my plan. We have a little bit of an issue in our home. We're waiting for the warranty person to come by to take a look. We're having an electrical issue, and they're also coming to look at the storm damage. But anyway, so we're kind of out of, like half the house doesn't have power. So that's great. Anyway, so we've got a crazy day ahead of us. So hopefully you guys are starting out your week on a good note. I didn't type it, but good morning, Rob and Greg and Vicky and Janet. Nice. Excellent. Daniel and Erica finally got your Disney passes. Yes. So it really is lovely. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Kind of Florida weather in the fall, what that means for us, for those of us who live here. And obviously why some of you guys tend to vacation here or buy your vacation homes here. But before we do that, we'll talk about our mug of the day. I don't know if I did this one. So here's the thing. I'm running out of, I'm not running out. I've still got a gazillion mugs up there, but I have a lot of mugs that are like holiday related, so I haven't pulled those out yet. I don't know if I did this one or not, but this is just a cute little puppy one. And I saw this one. It has it says dog person on the handle. I got this one at the Tiny Target. So if you watch us, you know that we talk about the Tiny Target is the one at Flamingo Crossing. Here in kind of the Horizon West area, close to close to Disney. And we call it the Tiny Target because it is mostly a tourist target, to be honest. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It definitely sells the things that you're going to need. It's got a smaller version of the grocery aspect. It does have a huge alcohol section though. So I don't know. Huge alcohol section. I guess people like to drink.
They know
We're
their
so,
audience.
huh?
They know their audience.
Yeah, I guess they do.
Long day at Disney.
So we, but yeah, so smaller food section, kind of housewares, cleaning, things like that. And then of course, kind of the essentials when it comes to clothing. There's some Disney merchandise there, of course. And then it has like the health and beauty section for sunscreens and aloe and all that kind of stuff. And they have a few home goods, but they don't have like the typical stuff. So I did see this mug one day. And so I snagged two of them, one for me and one for my daughter. So that's what I'm drinking out of today. So cheers to you. I had to reheat the coffee twice, but that's okay, because it's Monday and it's going to happen. Okay, so let's see if there's a couple questions before we actually get started. I think I saw somebody. Did somebody already have one? Oh, well, it was Daniel and Erica. They finally got their annual Disney passes for the cooler weather. So that is definitely exciting. So you'll have to update us on what the newest pricing is for those annual passes for residents. I don't remember even now what it was when we first moved here. I remember us having a difficult time, like we had to take documentation of like power bills or something to get our discounted residential rate. But well worth it in the beginning when we first moved here, because we were able to go there a lot more than we do.
Put up Kim's comment.
Joe says, I call it the baby Target. Yeah, exactly. It does feel like it. Okay, so Kim. We finally closed on one of our houses this week after a 6-month renovation, four failed contracts, a tree falling on the roof with a raccoon attached who bled and peed and pooped everywhere. Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations for closing. That seems like quite an ordeal. That's impressive and devastating all at the same time, but well done that you actually got closed. That's really good. Yeah, right, Wendy? Oh my word. That's kind of crazy. That's So Disney Girl CT, good morning, Amy. Did you and Eric complete your Lux Wall project? I was wondering how it worked out. Oh yeah, we did. Well, one of the two. We have the one. It's actually, you can't see it because it's right here in front of me. In my office, we did a Lux Wall project in there. Okay, Eric's going to flip it around. Can you flip it around?
What kind of angle we have, and the power's out in this room.
So. Oh yeah, the power's out in this room. Other than the okay, so where is it? What, right here? Yeah. Okay. All right, there you go. So there you go. So so Disney Girl, this is what I'm looking at here in my office. So we did a Lux Wall project here. We added some floating shelves. Coincidentally, and this is purely by luck, that we got, and I actually already had the shelves. The shelves and the wall matches perfectly, but they did not necessarily go together. So this is literally what. Do what? Oh, he's panning now.
Not really. It's not working well.
That's all right. Can you go a little bit? Can you go up or whatever? It's fine. You could, well, like it just all they're seeing is like awards and stuff.
Okay, well.
It's okay. It's very good. But yeah, so that's our Lux Wall. So we did that one. Excuse me. We did the, I have to go back to this one. Snap. There we go. We did that one wall treatment. We did that one like pretty early after we moved in. The one that we have not yet tackled is the one up in the media room with a darker wood plank. Partly because we feel like we may need more of the product. And honestly, we like keep forgetting about it. I know the boxes are there. They're sitting there in the media room. And we will definitely put them up, but I think I may have to order, and I have to go back through my files and figure out what color it was that I did. Excuse me. But yeah, I think it looks really, really good. Definitely an easy DIY project. So for those of you that are looking for some kind of a wood treatment, like on an accent wall, it actually did very, very well. It has like 2 or 3 pieces of an adhesive on the back, but it's very thin and it's very light. So it's not heavy. It's not going to fall off. Like in our home, and I'm sorry, I'm like rambling about this. I promise we're going to get to the fun stuff. In our former home here in Florida, we did like at Lowe's, there were these kind of like a peel and stick, but like the rock. It was like a stone rock. It was kind of heavy. And we did that on the underneath side of the island because it was just a plain wall. So we just kind of did that and kind of, homemade it up a little bit. But it was funny because as soon as we put it up, like in the middle of the night, you'd hear slap, 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 and they would fall down because they were so heavy, they would detach themselves. Remember, we have textured walls here. We have this orange peel, so it's not like a flat surface. So you have to consider that when you're trying to do some type of an adhesive. Anyway, so I went back to Home Depot or Lowe's, and they suggested I use something called liquid nails, and it's done pretty well. But every once in a while, you'll still see some peeling. However, Lux Wall, they're actually there's only one section that tends to pop off, and it's a piece that we had to cut because it was around an outlet, so it kind of pops a little bit. But other than that, it was super easy to install, super easy really to cut. For any of the pieces that you have to trim out. And there's no rhyme or reason. Like you can make the wood planks come in like 3 different sizes in the packet that you get. And so you can just kind of, be sporadic, be creative, do what you want to do. But anyway, so yeah, Lux Wall is the product we use. There's another brand out there that we ordered samples from as well. And I think the product is probably very comparable. Excuse me. But the other one, the wood was more rough. As opposed to the Lux Wall, which is very smooth. And so I chose the smoother one. He's like yelling in the other room. Okay. Anyway. All right. So let me move on. So yeah. But if you haven't already, if you do have a question, make sure you put a Q, capital Q with a colon. That will help me go back and reference them. I'm going to try to scan as we go. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Vicki. Yeah, I like the wall very much. I think it's very pretty. It's very neutral. It's very pretty because when you come in through the front door, it's kind of one of the first things you see kind of off to your left. And yeah, I like it. I'm happy with it. Okay, so let's see what is brewing today. Okay, so our topics for today. Now, we talked a little bit about this last week, and honestly, we'll probably be talking about it again next week too. But it is fall, y'all. We're going to talk about dorm choices and Eric the Builder. Not Bob the Builder, Eric the Builder. But it's fall, y'all. So I was just saying earlier, And I've said it to you guys too. Fall is my favorite season. I love summer. But growing up in Virginia, when you get 4 beautiful seasons, you get your summer, you get your winter, you get your spring, and you get your fall. And it really is the most glorious of like color and sense explosion. And so my favorite season is fall. So whenever it gets here and it can be official, because remember, excuse me. So we start school here in the middle of August. So we're kind of waiting. Like back in Virginia, you start after Labor Day. So it already feels like fall when you go back to school. Whereas here, we're still kind of in the summer months. So it's almost like there's more of this anticipation for the fall. And it's the time where the weather changes. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now is the cooler temperatures. So when we have fall here in Florida, the humidity for the most part goes away. And it's absolutely beautiful. This is why people move here. This is why whenever we do the video tours and we talk about your outdoor space can be a part of your indoor space, utilizing your outside oasis area or your lanai, whether or not you want to build some big splashy something or other in the backyard, or whether or not you just want your lanai, like screen that in. And this time of year, you can just open up those sliders and leave them open. That way, if it's screened, no little critters can come in the house, but you've just expanded your square footage and you've lowered your power bill, because when the weather is so beautiful, you don't need that AC running, which we typically have to, have running, the majority of the year. So this is a nice reprieve for us, to be able to kind of, look at those temperatures. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Don't you want to move to Florida? I do. I'm already here. But my other favorite thing about fall, by the way, if you watched we posted it a little bit late because we're going to get to the reason why, but we did our Sunday drive yesterday and we did a fall draft in there. And one of the things that I drafted was my candles. Like I said, it is sensory overload for the fall weather. And part of it is my favorite candles. And we've always got a candle or two going back here because, okay, well, let's just full disclosure. There's a litter box over here. So I always like to make sure there's an extra candle going on, excuse me, in my office. And so I ordered some candles. They were on sale. So when they were on sale, I just ordered a lot of them. So it's a lot, but I'll tell you a few of my favorites. So first of all, love the Yankee candles. Remember the other week we did the Zillow home and there was like the Yankee candle, like whatever person, their home, pretty amazing. That one is still going, I think, in the other room. This is my other favorite one from Yankee Candle. It's Harvest. This one I just lit last night for the first time. I went candle shopping for the weekend. And then this one is Apple Pumpkin. I still have to get used to this. So these are my favorite Yankee Candle ones. But, thank you, dear. But if we talk about, sorry. If we talk about the Bath and Body Works, okay, Leaves, fabulous. Autumn Woods, I don't know. Honestly, I ordered this one from the internet, and this smells like men's deodorant to me.
I rub it on my armpits.
Yeah, it smells good. Yeah, it smells like men's deodorant. It smells like the Old Spice, like the Swagger or whatever.
I don't wear deodorant, so
stop it. Okay, so Autumn Woods, and actually, it smells very good. It just smells like a men's deodorant, so not really quite the scent I'm going for in the fall.
It really does.
It doesn't it, right? It smells like Swagger or whatever those. They smell good, but not again. Harvest Gathering. This one's good. These are all new, by the way. And then my absolute favorite. Spiced Apple Toddy. So this gets us ready for the Christmas season. And when this scent first came out, I just grabbed it at the store. Oh my God, I love it. And it has become, and I laugh, it's kind of become the signature smell of our house during the winter or during Christmas. Our friends, Daryl and Jen, they would always come over for the holidays, and that candle is always going. And it was just funny because Daryl says he associates that smell, like that's Amy's smell. That's Amy's house smell. So now I feel this sense of obligation to keep that up. So I did order 6 of those, and I probably still have 3 left from last year. Anyway, so that's my candle conversation. But I do love candles. So if you have another set of candles, another brand that you like, let me know. I actually, I'm a creature of habit. So those are the ones I typically go to. I was at Bed Bath and Beyond the other day. They carry the Yankee candles. So I actually snagged those when I was actually at the store, which is rare because I have not been to the store in forever. And then the other ones, like I said, I ordered the other ones online. Okay, so let us go to the second what's brewing. Did I get the other ones? I did, yeah. So dorm choices. Okay, so our son is most likely going to Alabama. He was accepted. You've been following us along that journey, so he's probably going there. Not 100% sure yet. He's still waiting on a couple others, but I think that's his top choice, so that's probably going to be his choice. But it's dorm selection. So today is the day that they get to pick the exact room. And take a look at this. So I don't know about you, but this is a pretty swag type of a setup. Is that right? Am I cool? I said swag. Is that cool? Am I so hip? I'm hip. Okay, I just totally negated it. I said swag and then I said hip. So I just negated my hipness. All right, anyway. So but take a look at this. Seriously, this freshman dorm, I believe this is called the Presidential something or other, there on campus. But take a look at that suite. Four bedrooms, the common area in the middle, and then 2 bathrooms and the kitchen area. I mean, that is a pretty nice setup for incoming freshmen. I think that's pretty amazing. So this is his first choice. We've done everything very quick to the punch with this. We got his application in early. He got accepted as soon as they started to roll those out. We confirmed it rather quickly, and I think he's early in I don't know if it's like a lottery system, but I know some of them did. When our daughter went to JMU, it kind of was like a little lottery system. But at any rate, today is the day he gets to pick that, so we're excited about that. That's part of our, our excitement for the day. We all need a little something to look forward to. And then Eric the Builder.
Yes.
So Eric was gone all weekend. He left on Thursday, and he was in Virginia all weekend with our son who lives there in Richmond. Again, you've guys followed along our little journey with that. He actually went out of town to attend a friend's wedding. So because he went out of town, Eric went in town to both dog sit and to install some new flooring. So this is an LVP flooring. Those, if you take a look, you have to look. So those are the old floors. And again, this home was built in 1993. So, this is very indicative of the natural hardwood flooring that they had back then. Yes. I know many of you are going to say, why don't you just, sand them and refinish them and stain them? And we did think about that, but they're not all in great shape. So
actually, yeah, it's kind of horrible. I got it underneath it. It's
if it was a room maybe, but it's literally the entire downstairs, and it was not the same flooring in each of the rooms either. So it needed a little TLC. And that first room, the one that's directly beside my picture, is actually where he removed the toilet. So
because I'm a man,
Eric is like he is reaching new territories. So while he took it out, he also didn't put it back in. He has to go there again next weekend for another reason for my son's running an ultra marathon. We'll talk about that because, oh, good grief. But at any rate, so Eric was there this weekend installing some flooring. So the first picture closest to my picture with the paper in the floor, that was where the toilet was. I also asked him while he was there if he could paint behind where the toilet tank was. The middle picture is just an example of the new flooring versus the old flooring. And then the picture to the side is the dining room with the flooring, I guess, is done in there. He'll be doing the baseboards next weekend and finishing up the flooring project. But at any rate, so that's pretty exciting. He did some flooring in our other home as well. So it can be done. The flooring quality is nice. I think it's relatively easy to install. If you have the right equipment and the right tools, I think it's not that difficult. I think he encountered a little bit more intricate cuts and things when he started to kind of work around that bathroom, the way that first floor is situated. So anyway, so that's what Eric was doing over the weekend. But so that was it, right? That was it. So we got to the fall, we got to the dorm choices, and we got to Eric the Builder. So we covered our what's brewing. So now I'm going to go and see if we have any more questions. And yes, Eric had asked me, I did that again. I keep typing that in the comments. Oh, Amy, told you I'm so hip. Okay. Oh, tea time. Regarding the Luxe wall, did you sand the wall surface first to make it smoother, and do you use any finish nails? No and no. I did not. This was a trial for us to see how well it would adhere. So no, we didn't sand the wall at all. It was when we first moved into the home. Oh, that's a better picture. Good, thanks, dear.
Sure.
I mean, it's a little bit better anyway. I'm just see all the mess around there, but so when we first moved in, it had the typical builder paint on the walls. The first thing we did is we had our painter come in and paint all of the walls just an agreeable gray, so that it would have a better quality paint all over the wall. So we did have a second layer of paint, a little bit better than the builder. The builder grade is very chalky. It's like, it just feels like you just touch it and you can just like wipe it off with your finger. And then, and again, we still have some accent walls that we need to paint. But I just wanted to kind of have a nice, smooth, cohesive canvas when we first moved in. So we did the agreeable gray on all of the walls, and then we added the Luxe wall on that. So that wall did have a layer of paint, and it did have then just the adhesive. And no, we didn't need to do any finish nails. I mean, we probably could have if we needed to, but I mean, literally, if you saw the picture, it's up. It looks good. Nothing is poking off. The only one that wants to come off is a small section that was near an outlet, and I just keep pushing it back. So if you ever come to my house, you'll see that one spot, but I usually push it back before you see it. So, okay. Any other questions? Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to go over to our favorite Zillow home is this right? The Zillow? There it is. The Zillow Gone Wild, because this one's pretty spectacular. So if anyone's looking to rent in Beverly Hills, here you go. Okay, so if you are looking to rent, I did say rent for $150,000 a month in Beverly Hills, California. Like, let's say you're there filming. Let's say you're in a movie or a series, but you live in Omaha and you need to rent in Beverly Hills. Maybe your budget is such that you can afford $150,000 a month. By the way, this home is gorgeous. It has some interesting features like this room right here. I think they said they call it the jungle room. There's kind of, I don't know if that's live or plastic or what, but it's got an aesthetic to it for sure. Some of the rooms are a little gothic. I don't know if we passed that one picture or not. I need to point it out. One of them has the throne from Game of Thrones in it. That closet's pretty spectacular. I wouldn't mind having that. But I'm gonna see if it goes back around to it. Oh, that one's pretty too. I didn't see that picture. 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 15,000 square feet. So is anybody looking to rent there? Let me know. Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't work in California. I'm going to see that second picture though. So keep looking with me and then we'll click off of this. The second, I think it was the second picture. Yes. Okay. So that's the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones, but look above it. Look at the portrait. Like, who are they? Like, are those the owners? Did they get like a portrait done of themselves? Like, that's pretty cool. Anyway, so that is the Zillow Gone Wild. That's pretty impressive, but seriously, $150,000 a month. That's pretty pricey. So, if you can afford it, then groovy. Most of us can't. Unless, again, maybe we're like, famous movie actors or actresses, right? Aren't those pretty amazing? All right. All right. So then let us go to any other questions. If you have a question, pop up. Somebody had asked the other day about our pool update. I'm a little bit disappointed. Okay, we're a lot disappointed. But we're disappointed. I'm disappointed that Eric didn't get to come home from Virginia. He got home late last night, by the way, which is why the Sunday Drive posted late. I was a little upset that he didn't get to come home to maybe landscaping or something visually different about the pool, because at the moment, the pool still looks like this. So this is the picture we showed you last week of the extra water in there from Hurricane Ian. But that's what it still looks like. Since then, they did do the irrigation this week. So they did kind of rip up the yard and they laid down the irrigation and they've covered it back up. So that's done, but it's not really a visual improvement that you can see. But we were also expecting the landscaping, the big trees. We got some foxtail palms, and some other foliage that we're going to be planting in the back that will be both inside the pool area as well as behind the screen once the screen is installed. But yeah, we didn't get those over the weekend, so we were a little bit bummed about that. But I guess it's coming this week. I don't know. It's becoming frustrating. It's like so close, you see it. It's right there. And we're just not done. Jay, you said, is there a home tour of that house somewhere on YouTube? If you're talking about the Zillow house, honestly, I don't know. We just look at the Zillow Gone Wild site and try to find some fun ones to share with you, but there might be, so feel free to take a look. It's in Beverly Hills, California, so maybe you can look kind of around there. You recognize the Iron Throne? Yep. And then Rob says, do you know if the power outage is caused by the hurricane? If you're talking about the one in my house, I don't know. Here's the thing. We didn't think it was. However, in our family room, it's a 2-story family room, and there are 6 recessed lights up there. One of them has become a different vibrancy. I don't know. It's very dull compared to the other ones. The other ones are very, very bright. And this one is just like very subdued. And so we're wondering if that has it because, again, we didn't feel like there wasn't any water coming in that we felt had anything to do with the electrical, at least to our understanding. We reached out to the builder. We reached out to warranty. We didn't get a response. So I had to call an electrician because we have to have power in this half of the house. So we called the electrician that we typically use, and he came out and he changed out that particular, well, actually, when he came the first time, it stayed on. Of course it did. Take your car to the dealership and it doesn't make that noise anymore. He left, and then as soon as he left, it started tripping again. So he came back, he changed out that particular breaker or whatever you call it. He noticed that our whole house was GFCI'd, which I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I know your whole house isn't supposed to be. So it's supposed to be just your wet areas, but our whole house was done that way. And he changed it, but guess what? It's cut off again. It's off now. It cut off on me twice yesterday. Randomly, I was sitting there watching what I'm going to show you that I'm watching, and it just cut off. So it's been cutting off again. So now we don't really know if it was storm related, if maybe there's a leak somewhere. I don't know, but we're going to find out because we have to have power. And it seems to be a lot that's on one circuit. I'm not an electrician by any stretch of the imagination, but there seems like there's an awful lot on that one circuit compared to what else is on other circuits in the home. So we shall see, and I shall follow up with you, my friend. Okay. Vicky Mendoza, do y'all help with rentals or have a connection for assistance? I've thought about going that route. So yes, the reality is that in most cases, unless it happens to be a home that you're looking to rent and you need to have access to it, most everything can be found. Like we can set you up on the property search for those rentals. And if you need to be able to go in, it really just depends on the kind of rental you're looking for. People who are looking for short-term rentals to come down and vacation, and no, not really, because you can just find those on the websites, the ARBOs and things like that, where you can pretty much just find them, schedule them, book them, the whole kit and caboodle. But if you're looking to find like a long-term rental, we can assist through that. I have some extra hands sometimes. A lot of times they make it difficult for the realtor to assist because everything other than gaining access, we can certainly assist, especially since it's you, Vicky. Of course, let us know what you need us to do. Wendy B, why orange peel walls in Florida? Because of the block. Is there a way to have smooth sheetrock in Florida? And what makes it orange peel? Okay, so this is a really good question, Wendy. So in Virginia, our walls were different too. And these are little subtle differences that I don't think we really much pay attention to until we become of age where you're buying a home. And then you see something for the first time. You're like, oh, that's weird. Why do they do that? So we just have orange peel walls. It's a textured wall. I did have a client once that built with a builder. Ashton Woods was the builder. This has been years and years ago. He actually paid extra at the design center. They did have an option for him to have a smooth wall, but he had to pay more for that. He did pay more for that. And I remember saying, just the orange peel is a lot more, it'll camouflage a lot more. So fingerprints or bangs, dings, little touches, smooth surface is going to show it, more red. It's going to be very visible. The orange peel just kind of helps camouflage some of that a little bit. And it was funny because after he paid all that money for the smooth wall, and they were white, he's like, why did I do that? And I'm like, I told you. But a lot of it depends on where you're from and what you're used to and what feels comfortable to you. I will tell you, every wall here is orange peel. That's what the builders do. It's an orange peel wall. It's a knockdown ceiling. It's like, so it's textured up there. It's not popcorn. Those are gone. But I like the textured wall. And by the way, if you ever, I think I've mentioned this before too, but if you ever, if you have an orange peel wall and let's say you're hanging something or screwing something in the wall and then you have to like spackle it or whatever, there's actually there's a spray can of orange peel texture. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot. So what you need to do then is you just typically spackle and smooth out and sand that section. But now that section is going to be sanded and not textured, right? If you just fixed it. So you need to retexture it before you paint it. So that's why you go to the store, you get that can of the orange peel spray. It's like a spray paint, but you just kind of spray it outside first so you can get a feel for like what the amount of force for the little squirt before you actually do it on your wall. Because if you do it on your wall and you don't have like the right thing, you'll still see it. So everyone says, all the builders say practice it first outside so you can kind of get a feel for it. But yeah, I mean, it's just what we do. I don't really know why, but all the builders do it and have it. So I'm used to it. I like it. I like it very much. Oh, let's see. Quentin, appraisal gap update. I told Madame I was walking away from my contract and forfeiting my deposit. They countered by allowing me to switch lots. I've had some builders do that as well. Yeah. They're trying to keep you in and they give you another opportunity for a different home, maybe a less expensive, smaller home, maybe a different lot, to try to help accommodate. So I totally get it. It's, yeah. The builders they're not playing nice, but they also don't want you to cancel, right? So they want to do what they can, but they also can only do what they can do, if that makes sense. So sometimes they can be creative and let you switch home sites or, I had some clients switch with a different builder, same thing. They had a home that was under construction, just weren't able to afford it anymore at this point. And so instead of losing the money, we were able to switch them to a different home site and a different one. So B, when do you think the Del Webb Oasis and the Toll Brothers West Haven models will be open to the public? You want to plan a visit. All right. So the Del Webb Oasis models, while they technically haven't had the grand opening, which they expect to have in November, they are there for you to walk through. So if you were to go to Del Webb Oasis, you might want to give me a call first so I can make sure that because they're currently transitioning their office because they were originally working out of like a little office building off of Avalon Road. But now that the sales center and everything else is pretty much completed, they're kind of moving everything into the sales center there on site at Del Webb Oasis. But the models are there. You probably saw our videos that we did. We have video tours of all of their models preemptively of their big grand opening. But yeah, you can walk through those now. It's just I encourage you to make an appointment. So give me a call and we'll get you squared away when you come in town. As far as the Toll Brother ones, still having the issue. Thank you, dear. Still have the issue with the water. So until they can get that wrapped up, not sure when they will be open, but they are built. They're there. They're just not like ready yet. So good question. Let's see. What else do we have? Huh? My note. Eric gave me a note. Osprey Ranch K-Hob is starting pre-sales this week. Yeah. So if you're looking for the Osprey Ranch, with K-Hob Nanian, then those pre-sales are going to be starting this week. Okay, I have another question. Sorry about that. Sydney, is there a penalty to walk away from a contract? Yes. So this is actually going to be the topic of our next Sunday drive, I think, because I have had multiple clients, different builders, different stages, phases, price points, all experiencing some angst about, can I afford it? I know I can't afford it. It's taking too long. Excuse me. They're asking me to sign another extension to go beyond the 2-year mark. So there are penalties to walking away. And again, everyone's situation is going to be different. So this is not a blanket statement. So first of all, if we talk about resale and you walk away, you have a safety period. So for instance, one of my listings that we featured last week, it went pending like late last night. So that buyer has a 7-day inspection period. So for 7 days, they have an opportunity to get their inspection done. And should there be anything in the inspection that warrants them wanting to walk away, they can do so with no financial repercussion. Now, some people get a little bit iffy with that, and they use that 7 days as a free pass. So if they just change their mind, they can walk out of the contract within that safety period, that inspection period, with no financial repercussion. You can get your earnest money deposit back if you've even sent it in at that point, which you should, because it's typically 3 days after the signed contract is when most people require that earnest money deposit be wired to the title company. But with resale, keep in mind, it's a much smaller deposit. I mean, it could be 1%, it could be 2 or 3%, but in most cases, 1 to 2% ish range for a resale home. So you don't have as much money in the game right off the bat as you do with new construction. When some of these builders are requiring you to pay 10% at the time of contract, and then you've gone to the design center and you've had to pay an additional deposit for any design center overage that you may have spent there, you may have a pretty hefty amount already, kind of invested with the builder, and that's what you risk. For instance, I have a client, and their amount that they ended up putting down was about $40,000. By the time all the money kind of the earnest money deposit in the design center is about $40,000, and that would potentially be what they were going to lose. And some builders they might give you some of it back. They might give you none of it back. They're not really obligated to give you any of it back. If there's a financing contingency, if something has happened to your financing and then they deem that you are now not qualified. I mean, there's a lot of semantics about how they can do it, but ultimately what you need to expect, I'm not saying it's what's going to happen, but you need to be willing, if all goes bad, you have to be willing to lose the initial money that you put down on that contract as your earnest money deposit, whatever that was, whether it was 1% of a resale home or whether it ended up being an astronomical amount. Even let's say you paid cash or you were paying cash for a home and they required 20% down and then you change your mind and you want to walk out. That's a lot of money to lose. So I always tell people every contract is a legal binding contract. Do not sign them if you do not have full intention of seeing it through to fruition. If you want that home and that place that you can live and shelter yourself and your family, if you want that, then plan on moving forward with it if you can. If life circumstances has changed and now you're like, oh my gosh, what do? I can't afford it anymore. That's a different conversation. And you can cancel a contract. Builders call it the release and cancellation. Well, we call it the release and cancellation even for resale too. Which just means we release you of the terms of the contract. You're canceling the contract. And then, sometimes we can get some of the money back. Sometimes we get all the money back. Sometimes they transfer lots. Sometimes they find another opportunity for you. I've had clients stay with the same builder, but switch communities to avoid losing the earnest money deposit. So it's not a one size fits all, but if there was one thing that is relatively consistent that you should at least mentally and financially expect is to lose that initial earnest money deposit if you cancel. Okay. Do we have any other questions? A bunch of questions. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Sharon G, are the models open at Silverleaf? No, not yet. They're not even built. Yeah, there's nothing there yet. Still just working on the roads and the land. I mean, the schools are there. So there's the main road that goes to the school and all of that. But the actual Silverleaf, like that Meritage section, there's nothing there yet, unfortunately. But promise, as soon as they're there.
She asked if it's close to Hamlin.
Yeah, absolutely. It is close to Hamlin. Yeah, it is absolutely close to Hamlin. It's right there off of Avalon Road. If you're looking at maps, it's past the New Independence Parkway exit and the Schofield Road exit. It's kind of nestled in there. But yeah, right there at Hamlin. So Publix, Sinopolis, Walmart, French Cafe, all that stuff's right there. Perfect. Okay, another couple questions. At Eric, I think these are for you. So we had an outdoor light on a GFI circuit and the rain would get behind the light. Yep. The surge protectors. Yeah, I know. We're hoping. The builder is supposed to be here today. So, the warranty guy. So hopefully that'll do. We'll be able to get that rectified or at least figure out what we need to do. Okay. Do you know if the large concrete structures being built next to the future Taylor Morrison community and the new Hartzog Road will be apartment homes the large structures across from Del Webb. Yes, they are going to be apartments listed as the overlook apartments. That's at least what the permits say. So apartments, pretty much everywhere. I hope we have enough people to fill the apartments, but I'm sure we will. Everyone wants to be here. Good morning, Elizabeth Deering, joining late. She is out in, where are you? Atlanta? Savannah? Atlanta? I don't know where she is. She's out and about. It's fall break. Yes, Ben, West Haven just gave our friends an additional $3,000 toward closing. Yes, that is true. They also offer the same thing to my clients. The problem is that's nothing compared to what is changing in the course of, going beyond 2 years, the interest rates. To me, that's almost insulting, but it is what it is. So an extra $3,000 toward closing costs is $3,000 less that you have to pay. But in my personal opinion, that is not a sufficient compensation for what those initial homeowners and home purchasers in that community are now experiencing. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I think it's generous that they did, but again, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, they could do better, but they don't have to. Let's see. I'm just following up. Pre-sales starts. Yes, we got that, Quentin. Yep. All right. So tea time. You said if you're an actual cash buyer, you should initially sign as a mortgage buyer to decrease your initial down payment. Well, you can. I see where you're going with that. And you can change from cash to financed or from finance to cash. I've had clients go from finance to cash many times because they were just waiting for their existing home to sell, but they were not contingent. So I think the only way you can do that is if you are not contingent, which obviously you would not be if you've got the cash. But I don't know. I think they might see into that a little bit, but I will say they're being a little bit nicer right now. So, you might be able to get away with less of a down payment. Yeah. I was hoping it was going to be some more stores as well. I'm still waiting for us to get, what we have is very nice here. We've got our, the Publix and the Walmart and the Sinopolis and all of that in the Hamlin area. And we have the Flamingo Crossing area. And we still have Winter Garden Village just down the street. And that's really where everybody goes for all of the main stuff. And then, of course, if you're also close to Earlo Bronson, so you can get to the more touristy section for some of that shopping. But I would not mind our own little Winter Garden Village here in the Hamlin Garden Village. So I'm with you on that one. Okay, so let's go real quick. Just going to go hit on. So not that this matters. This one is under contract. And there's another one that I had that went active, that went pending. That's the one I said went late last night. Beautiful home out in Davenport as well. Super excited about that one. That was one where it was a little back and forth. And interestingly, let me just share this story because this kind of goes to how things are working now. So if you remember and again, refer to it as the feeding frenzy. In the feeding frenzy, the buyer wasn't asking for anything. They were coming in over asking pricing. They're asking price. They're putting escalatory addendums. They were waiving appraisals, or they were waiving inspection contingencies. They were giving their firstborn child. They were doing whatever they could to secure the home. Okay. Now, how everything has switched. Now the buyers are kind of coming back at, okay, well, we're going to come in maybe a little under asking. We're asking for closing cost contributions. And that's exactly what happened. So we got the overview. The realtor sent me a quick little snapshot via text message of saying, here's the offer. This is the offer price, the earnest money deposit, 7-day inspection, closing, blah, blah, blah. What we typically do with one another, just to get the overview. And I was like, oh, well, that looked okay. The buyers were, my sellers were okay with that. And then when I actually got the actual contract in the additional terms, it said that they were asking for 2.5% back toward the buyer's closing costs. Well, that's a no-go. That's not going to happen. But they asked, and I went back with the realtor and I said, they can't do 2.5%. Like, we could accept the terms minus that, so we can counter back and cross that out and go forward. And then as I talked to her, I realized that what it is that the buyers needed cash. Their earnest money deposit was a little low. They're financing a rather large amount of it. So this is basically, it kind of makes my heart happy because in the feeding frenzy, those first-time home buyers, they didn't have anything to play with. They're coming to this game with no equipment, no padding, nothing. And now we're getting back to the point where that first-time home buyer is able to secure a home, financing 97% of it. They're able to secure a home with a smaller earnest money deposit, and they're able to secure a home, in this case, even requesting a closing cost contribution. Now, it just so happens that my sellers are absolutely the nicest people, and we were able to kind of find a way to work and compromise. And so my sellers are going to credit a little back toward closing costs, but we got the buyers to come in at a slightly higher price. So we really kind of made it work, right? And that's where kind of that's kind of where the market is. It's a little bit more about that conversation, that back and forth. And, well, your clients need this to make it work. Well, the sellers can only do but so much, but maybe we can meet it in the middle and we can still make this work. And so I'm happy to say that we did, and we're under contract. So, okay. So real quick, is there anything else that I missed? I don't know if I missed anything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to what I'm watching because I need another sip of my coffee. So what I'm watching is down here, right? Yep, here it is. Okay, so my newest series at the moment is called The Midnight Club. So here's the thing. So I, when I say what I'm watching, it sounds like I just sit around all day and watch TV, and that's actually not it at all. I will watch an episode or two as I try to go to bed at night. And that's just that's my routine. That's my Eric will stay up late working, or he'll go watch something. And then I go lay in bed and watch a show or two. But this one, it just struck me because it said it had some of the cast members from The Haunting at Hill House. It's Halloween time. So I was like, maybe I'll go with something a little spooky-ish. And it's not that bad. It's, I don't even know if maybe it was based off of a book or something. It's a limited series. It's got I think 10 episodes. Just the quick overview is that, these, I guess, young adults, I mean, they're not young kids and they're not but they're like high school-ish, I don't know, I'm going to guess between 16 and 20-ish, have cancer, and they are at a hospice home, and this home it's an older home, and every night at midnight, they all go, they have a little club, and they meet in this library of this home, and they kind of tell ghost stories, and there's lots of stories that kind of go on between them. So it's good. I mean, is it fabulous? I don't know. But it's entertaining. I like it. So I've been watching that. I've obviously got more episodes to go, but so if you're bored, that's a good one. Again, because it had some of the cast from The Haunting at Hill House, which I watched with my daughter. I thought this might be a fun one to watch. Okay, so I am back to some questions. I did my little thingy again. All right, we talked about that one. Talked about concrete structures. Are party walls required before you can call attached houses townhomes? Party walls. Do you mean firewalls or like the extra insulation? I know that the townhomes here definitely have extra insulation, and there's the firewall between them. I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about or not, but I know the townhomes here do have those. Do you have something for me?
Oh, it's just for a question that's coming up.
Oh, question that's coming up. Okay. Models open this weekend. Yes.
The models don't open. It's just pre-sale.
Yeah.
There's no models there.
Yeah. It says, good morning. Osprey Ranch models open this coming weekend. Will you have new videos soon? Thoughts on K-Hob as a builder? I don't think there's any models there. Yeah, there's nothing there yet. The pre-sales start. And that honestly, let's talk quickly about pre-sales. So pre-sales happens when the community is not quite set and ready. Sometimes they're selling out of other communities. Or they're selling out of a trailer on site, but in most cases, they're pre-selling out of another community, or they're just pre-selling online. So that's what's starting this weekend, not the actual models. But yes, Jacqueline, as soon as the models are open for any of those communities, we'll be right on it, just like we were with Del Webb Oasis. We were kind of waiting, and we got a little bit of a sneak peek there. But yeah, pre-sales start for them. As far as my thoughts on K-Hob as a builder, I love them. I have lots of their videos, lots of their communities. I've sold lots of their homes, have lots of happy homeowners. They've got a wonderful 55 plus community out in Kissimmee called Four Seasons. But I've also sold like their luxury, massive, monster, gorgeous homes on the lake and like the Overlook at Hamlin area. So it's a builder that has a full spectrum of homes, and I've sold some with all of them, and I think they're amazing. So
very. Maybe we'll get Ken on next week.
Yeah, maybe I could do that. We'll get our friend Ken or Curtis or somebody on there. But yeah, so we've got lots of good builder contacts. So yeah, KHAV has sold lots of their homes, have no issues, had lots of happy homeowners. So absolutely like them very much. Let's see, where was the other ones? B, do you think home insurance will go up? In Virginia, I pay about 1.6. Yep. How does that compare with Winter Garden? Eric actually brought me this so that we'll have the latest info for you. Florida is already the most expensive state for insurance, averaging over $4,000 a year. A lot of that is flood insurance. Remember, not everyone is required to have flood insurance in Florida. If you are not deemed in a flood zone by FEMA, you're not required to carry flood insurance. You can add that to your policy if you want, but you're not required. It may go up now because we just had a hurricane. Yeah. The biggest issue is that companies are starting to stop issuing insurance in Florida. So, and that's kind of always been the case. You see that it's cyclical. Every time there's a big storm and all of these insurance claims are filed, more insurance companies stop carrying homeowners insurance. But there are insurance companies here. All of these homes, well, I'd say all of them. If you're buying a new construction home, it has to be insured. You're buying these homes, they need to be insured. So there are companies out there that do the insurance, but some of the main names that you might typically see, they may not offer homeowners insurance here in Florida. But yeah, like every time there's a big storm, it kind of creates it creates a little bit of a thing, and the insurance rates may go up. Some of the insurance carriers may decline carrying, covering homeowner insurance here. But remember, where we are is a little bit different. And I think that really, really, really matters. It matters for the intensity that we would be potentially, affected by a storm because we are, inland. We're central Florida. We are not on the Gulf Coast. We are not on the Atlantic coast. We are right there in the middle. And anything, no matter how intense it hits, I mean, God bless the people that take the brunt of that. But by the time it gets to us, it is not as intense. It can still be a storm and it can still cause damage. And that is not in any way, shape, or form to belittle what has happened to people here with flooding and things like that. But, we're a little bit different than you trying to insure a home that is, 200 yards from, the Gulf. That's a little bit different. So, but yeah, I think it's gonna change a little bit. Kim, this is a good question. One of my top 3, 55 plus communities. Oh, wow. I just mentioned it a minute ago. I really love the aesthetic of Four Seasons, which is by KHAV in Kissimmee. I think it's absolutely beautiful. If you like that location, if you like that proximity to Disney, one of the nice things about that community is that it is nestled around a golf course, but the golf course is not a part of that community. However, the golf course can give you a discounted membership. You can take your golf cart and drive directly to the clubhouse. And in fact, that clubhouse has a restaurant there on site that you can utilize as a resident of Four Seasons. You can utilize their restaurant. So it's got some little hidden perks in there. So I like that one very much. I like Poems at Serenoa by D.R. Horton, part of their Freedom series. That's out in Claremont. I like that one very much too. I think all the home sites out there are very peaceful. I feel like it's a very quiet, peaceful place. And I think their floor plans are quite nice too. Obviously, Esplanade at Highland Ranch was definitely high on my list. It still is, but because there's no more opportunity necessarily for new construction, it would be resale. But there's a lot. There's so many beautiful 55 plus communities, but those are a few of them. If we're talking like an older one, Kings Ridge is beautiful. Being in there, mature landscaping, definitely an older community out in Claremont, but that one is really, really, really pretty too. So honestly, the 55 plus, they're going to hook you up. Del Webb Oasis is going to be stunning. So it's kind of hard. I don't want to leave that out, but because it doesn't really exist in a flourish yet, but yes, will definitely be on that list as well. And they'll be doing the new Del Webb Mineola. I have no idea what that one will look like when it's done, but basically there's a lot of them. So I think that's a good plan. I like that one. All right. What did you say? Adding this so Amy will see it in her search. Are you seeing this? What is it, Eric? Oh, I see. It's from Tamika sent it. Okay. Are you seeing a decrease in home prices, or are we still in the big bubble right now? Well, we're kind of in a mix. Okay. So we're still, believe it or not, we are still in a situation. We talked a lot about mindset, and we talked about seller mindset and buyer mindset. We talked about that last week. We talked about it on the Sunday Drive. There are still sellers and there are still realtors who do not understand what's happening. They're not paying attention, and they're still in the market that we had, not the market that we are in. And so those homes that were priced super, super high to begin with, because they priced them with the expectation of a market that has now, it's in our rearview mirror, those homes are coming down in price because they're not selling. So you see those price reductions because they're not selling. So that's kind of a different prices going down. That's a different kind of a situation because they priced them too high to begin with. Now, I have noticed, again, we've talked about the builders and them just kind of upping the incentives. Some builders are taking some prices off of some homes at the moment, some inventories, because we know we're approaching the end of the year, which for a lot of builders is going to be the end of the fiscal year. So they would like to get a lot of those wrapped up. So we're starting to see the incentives come up. They're like, if contracted by this weekend, an extra $10,000 off the home, things like that. But, again, generally speaking, I think if you are priced well, homes are still selling at that value. I mean, nothing is kind of being tanked and selling ridiculously under. I think we're still good as long as you are priced correctly and you have comps that can support it. What we're missing now is the crazy cuckoo feeding frenzy where people were just throwing out money and waiving everything. We're not there anymore. We're back to a more typical home buying and home selling experience. So thank you for the question, Tamika, on behalf of Eric, because he redid it for me. All right. Is there anything else I missed in there? I'm sure there might be a couple in there. I don't know. I think I'm good too. I think I am. All right, guys. So what we are going to do, first of all, let me just double check. Let me see if this, sorry, hold on.
I want you to talk about I love you.
Oh, I do need to do that. Yeah, I do need to talk about that because as we get ready to wrap this up, and I get ready to say my little thing, I noticed, I don't really read, well, I do. Eric knows that I am the people pleaser. I want everyone to be happy. And I also know that is not possible for me to make everyone happy. I know there are people that I must annoy the mess out of them, people that probably click my video off as soon as it scrolls up. And then I know there's people that feel connected and we kind of have a connection and a familiarity because we do this. So that's okay. I've lived a little, so I've learned a lot. But I noticed the other day, somebody commented, because you'll notice at the end of my video, I always say, be safe, be well, stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you and happy house hunting. And that actually kind of just derived over time. It wasn't anything like if you look at my old videos, I didn't say that. It just kind of was like, stay safe, stay well. And then I was like, I added the we love you. And here's the thing. It's because I do. And that person commented, we love you. Who says that? Don't believe anything that comes out of her mouth or something to that effect. And that to me just makes it's sad that somebody would think that that someone that you don't know or someone that you kind of watch can't actually care about other people that they don't know. So if anyone is confused, let me tell you, if you exist, I love you simply because you exist in this world at the same time as me. And we go through this thing together, this little short time we have here on earth. And I don't care who you are or where you are or who you love or what you look like or who you worship or if you worship. My point is you are a human and you exist and I care for you very much. I love you as a human. So I do. So you can believe it or not, but that's who I am. So for the person who made the comment, you know what? I love you too, even though it's a little hard. All right, guys. On that note, I will tell you that if you need me, give me a call, 407-848-8042. Texting is usually best, mostly because a lot of times I'm on the phone or I'm in a situation where I can't answer, and I always like to answer, and it makes my heart hurt if I can't answer. So if you text me first, that's usually the easiest way to get in touch with me. But as always, guys, please stay safe, stay well, Remember, we love you because we absolutely, truly, from the bottom of our heart do. And happy house hunting. You guys have a great day. Bye.